Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're taking a look at Dadish 2. This game is developed and published by Thomas K. Young and releases on October 27th, 2021 for a price of $9.99. If you haven't already watched our review on Dadish 1, I'm going to encourage you to pause this video, go watch that review, and then watch this one. Keep in mind you might get spoiled. I'm not going to show off any of the bosses for any of the games, but you might kind of see how many levels and some of the enemies that you might play ahead of time. But I'm not going to talk too much as far as some of the details in the game because they're very similar as Dadish 1 and Dadish 2 launched alongside each other. But yeah, definitely watch that video before you watch this one. So Dadish 2 takes place around the same 50-esque levels that features various modes from normal mode all the way up to hard mode, which you can click and enable, and you'll know that you're on hard because the map kind of changes aesthetic appearance while you are playing. You're going to have the same set of stars that you can collect and then, just the same types of enemies that you're going to just play, but the game ultimately just increases that storyline progression while you are playing. The things that I do enjoy with Dadish 2 is Dadish 2 actually introduces some new enemies, but also introduces some, new things in the game and mechanics such as quicksand, shooting mustard guns, cupcakes that seem to be overly obsessed with you for absolutely no reason, and bosses and stuff that actually remember you, which is definitely a kind of a nice take, but still also has the same, challenging and difficulty as far as the nuances that the first Dadish kind of presented to you in the game. And it is that same style of mechanic that if you're playing and you die, you kind of restart the levels. Most of the levels are very unforgiving. As you can see, I'm struggling to talk and play while doing this one, so let's change levels up a little bit. But you are going to get, like I said, some new mechanics, some different ways that some of the levels kind of operate and play. That's definitely a nice change of pace from what the first game had, and definitely makes you feel like you're getting something different for your money's worth. Now, as far as anything that's revolutionary from Dadish 1, you're not really getting anything in that sense. Aside from just opportunities to fail more and more, as some of the puzzles and little ways you navigate some of the levels will increasingly develop while you're playing along through the game. As far as achievement-wise, which I know a lot of people are always curious about, the same similar achievement scope as the first game, where you need to collect all the stars, beat all the levels, and beat the game on hard mode. The difference is there's a possum mode in the first game, which you need to beat the final boss on, but that doesn't kind of reflect into Dadish 2, so those are completely separate. You're going to have multiple different worlds that you're just going to need to fight a variety of different style enemies on, and just ultimately try to get from one end of a level to the other while trying to not die. If at any point you do die, you have to restart those levels over, unfortunately. But ultimately, that's what makes platforming games fun, is they're not always the easiest and smoothest games to get done. And one thing I do enjoy about these Dadish series is both of these games are not games that are just quick 5-minute plays. They're definitely 10 minutes, and you get your they're definitely $10, and you get more than your time and your 10 minutes worth. If I have to give any type of an opinion on Dadish 2, I think Dadish 2 is great. I think that it is a big improvement from Dadish 1. They add a lot of new mechanics. The controls are still pretty much identical, but you do get a lot of different varied enemies, and that's kind of a nice thing to see that they are able to change up some stuff, especially when the games launch at the exact same time. It can always be a worrying factor that what are they, just carbon copies? Is it just the same thing? Is it going to feel like a totally different experience? And I definitely think Dadish 2 feels like a little bit of a different experience. It's not completely revolutionary, so don't get me wrong, but it definitely feels like you are playing another game, and it definitely feels like you are getting your money's worth when it comes to playing that game. You are going to have to continually work on trying to navigate the puzzles, figuring out how to get all the items that you need to collect, finding all the stars. It definitely does get tricky and challenging. As far as figuring out things, it's just going to be a lot of trial and error and rinse and repeat while you're playing. If I have to give this game any type of opinion, if you should buy, sell, or pass, it's going to fall much in line with the way I thought with Dadish 1. So spoiler alert, I definitely think Dadish 1 was worth picking up. I think at $10 you get plenty of play and enjoyment out of your money, and same for Dadish 2. You're going to get that same 50 levels. So if you buy both games at the same time, you're going to spend $20, get 100 levels to kind of play through on multiple different settings of difficulty, and you're going to really have an enjoyable time, which I don't think is anything bad, especially in the sense of a lot of the times we're spending $5 nowadays on games that you're finishing in 15 minutes. You're going to get a good couple hours just running through the base difficulty, and then if you want to do those harder difficulty modes, it's definitely going to be giving you your money's worth. So if you have any questions about Dadish 2 or Dadish 1, as always, let us know down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed our review. If you do end up picking the game up, let us know down in the comments. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you next time.